What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Who You Got With.
Mellow.
And Brado is a sports podcast where we talk about your favorite sports highlights, sports debates, and sports matchups. What's going on, Mello? What are we talking about today, man?
You already know what it is. It's been NBA playoffs. It's been UFC 274,
That's true.
and at the same time, it's Cinco de Mayo, baby. And we got our
Baby.
favorite Mexican fighter alive right now, Canelo Alvarez fighting Dmitry Bivol
Fighter
this
of the
weekend.
generation, for sure.
Exactly, and at this point, arguably the best fighter alive.
That's for sure. May 7th, 2022 is going to be Canelo Alvarez versus Dmitry Bilal.
Whew, for
And
the
that's going to be.
WBC light heavyweight championship.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Bilal has the light heavyweight championship right now. And obviously, Canelo has his championship as well, and he's gonna try to get both championship right now to bring them together as well.
Well, I
So
would say he don't have one for 170,
not from two
175.
seventy
Yeah,
one
yeah, yeah.
percent.
So
One
he's
percent. He
gonna.
has the one
I'm
sixty
pretty
five
sure he's gonna.
championship.
And that's the thing. I'm pretty sure once he became undisputed, at 168, he just said, "I don't care." He might keep it because at this point, they might drop him back down, uh, to have
Hmm.
some fights,
Ooh, I don't
next
know
year.
about that. We might have to talk about that because I don't
Exactly.
I
We
don't
might
really
see.
agree with that.
We
I
might have
think
to see what
I
options he
think we'll
has.
we'll see what has to happen with this fight, and if he actually does really well in this fight, because Bilal, the 175 champion, so if he actually fights good against the 175 guy, then he can hold his own against these guys. Then
Well, I don't think that his belts are actually up for contention at 168.
no,
Like Dmitry Bivol is not like interested at that those belts at all. Basically, at
no,
this
no, no,
point,
no, not at
it's
all. The
whoever
guys,
wins this gets the light heavyweight belt.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
so yeah, so I don't even know what he's doing with those 168s, but like I said,
Hmm.
we could talk about it
Yeah,
after the
yeah. I
fight.
mean, there's no way that like a guy like Plant is gonna come back, and try to fight him, or Kovalev is gonna, fight him again. So, you know, but we can talk about that for sure later because there is a possibility of Triple G. So we can definitely
Yeah,
discuss
and
that
that's what,
later.
and that could be at 168, and
Exactly.
that's why I say I think
So we
that he
can
might
discuss
keep
that for
those
sure.
belts to go back down to face Triple G.
But
But
this
for
one though,
now,
this one is still a crazy fight. I mean,
exactly.
Dmitry Bilal, he's a beast. I mean, he's honestly one of the toughest challenges for Canelo to this day. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
if we
Bivol's a
just
nice fighter.
yeah, if we just go by the tail of the tape, he's 19-0 and 31 years old, 6-0, 72 reach. And he fights that orthodox style. So he's the type of fighter that Canelo's not really used to fight. He's just fighting more southpaw style fighters, and it's gonna be interesting seeing him fight a bigger guy like this. If you look at him, even in the press conferences, even when they were like seeing each other, he just stood so much over him. Like he
Mm-hmm.
really did. And obviously he's fought bigger guys before. Volkov, he was big as well, but not as big as a guy like him.
Now, Canelo is only 5'7", 5'8", so he's
Exactly.
pretty much teletape for Canelo.
Yep.
Is 57 1-2.
Only
39 knockouts. And Bivol only have 11 knockouts out of his 19 fights.
true.
And most
True.
of his decisions came in his last couple fights.
That's true. That's true. And the
Um,
only loss for Canelo is obviously Floyd Mayweather.
yeah, yeah. And then the two draws. I'll be honest, I forgot about the first one. I know one's Triple
It was
G. It
very
was
early in
very
his
early. I
career. He
forgot what
was,
his name
I
was.
believe, he was like 19 years old at the time when he
But yeah,
he had a draw.
70.5 reach, 31.
Yeah.
Obviously orthodox. And one thing I looked up too was the rounds. Dmitry Bivol only fought 148 rounds so far in his
Yep.
career, while
That's true.
Canelo Alvarez has fought 436
I
rounds.
mean, like I said, he had
He has
19
60
wins.
fights.
19 wins for Bilal, but 11 knockouts. That's actually a lot. That's more than half of his wins were knockouts. So that's not bad. I know his last few wins, like you said, were mostly decisions, but still, overall in his career, him having like half of his fights as knockouts, that's still pretty good, up and coming fighter.
Oh no, no, definitely.
I mean,
Uh,
Canelo's the type of guy that'll take it to decision too. Like
nah, we have a disgusting amount of prolific boxers in the light heavyweight division, and Dmitry Bivol at 19-0 has basically won the belt early on. I think in his 11th, 12th fight,
yeah,
and pretty much at this point is about to defend it for the 11th time. So he actually
exactly.
won it probably in his eighth, ninth fight. Like he pretty much came in early dominated everyone, and pretty much grabbed the belt and has been putting everyone to bed. Not even to bed, but like pretty much has making sure. And that's the thing, he does not like he don't completely have the power. He has no problem taking a decision, outboxing you, trying to play the defensive game,
Mm-hmm.
picking and choosing. So he defended once he got the belt. He kind of changed his style up, and a lot of people they don't compare him, but like it's the same thing like Floyd Mayweather. He was Pretty Boy Floyd, knocking everyone out when he first
Mm.
started off, and then he switched to more of a defensive style on how to just more continuity for
So
his career. And Dmitry Bivol has been doing the same exact thing.
I definitely agree with a little bit of that. I don't think that he's like on a level of Floyd's defense for
No,
sure.
not at all,
Obviously,
not at
yeah,
all.
but I do
But
agree
the
with you.
style,
The
he
style,
switches he
and it
switched the
works
style
because
up.
he's very more patient. He's
Yeah,
very
yeah, so
patient
much more
whenever he
patient.
fights. He definitely is, and he likes to go up towards you, but he doesn't like to really punch even if he's going forward. He just likes to control the fight that way. He'll pick his spots and jab you and stuff, but he's very more of a patient fighter because he knows he can look you down. Being 6-0 at this at his weight is pretty good, you know. But the only thing with him is his last fights have been in the last 3 years and 5 months. You know, a guy like Canelo, he fights pretty much 3 times a year. You know, and Dimitri, like literally, his last fight was last year. We saw him in like late 2021. Same with Canelo, but I mean, if you look at how the more active fighter, it's obviously Canelo. He likes to be fighting
Well,
every
you got to
3 to 6
realize
months.
everybody was active before COVID. Everyone stopped with COVID. Some people became more active after COVID, and Canelo was one of those people that came back next year, and he had a clear cut vision. I want to run through the 168 division.
Yeah, I mean, he
So Dimitri Duvall, that's the thing. Dimitri Duvall didn't pick on the division. He stayed where he was at. He slowly took his fights. But that's the thing. Remember, we're literally not even 2 years removed from COVID.
yeah, true,
So everyone
but
was a lot more active before. So when people like with any sport, like obviously not like basketball or football. When it comes to like fighting, when it
mhm,
comes to being active, as long as they gave us two fights since COVID came, like
yeah,
since COVID caught,
I
I don't
get
even.
that,
I'll give him that,
but
and he has.
with Canelo, he has that big contract with
Well,
DAZN
he's out to
network,
make money, and
but
he's out to
it's a
prove that he's the
huge.
best ever.
I get that, but it's still like a huge contract. 11 fights for 365 million for DAZN, the network.
Right, right,
You know, so he's trying to get those fights a little bit quicker as well. I get it, you know, because he wants his next contract to be even bigger.
right,
You know,
right,
so I get that he wants to fight like a lot more. And if he's not getting hurt, there's no problem with that. Like I don't see that as a
right,
problem.
right.
And he doesn't look like he is.
Nah, he
Like the
hasn't been in
last few
any danger
fights,
in the last three fights.
that's exactly what I was thinking. Like obviously in the last 3 fights, when he knocked out Caleb Plant, everyone saw that just to keep his title. That was incredible last year. And then obviously before that, Saunders, he took him in an eighth round knockout. And before that, it was Avni Yurdam, which again, my man took him in a third round knockout. So you know the last 3 fights were all knockouts. You know, so you know you got to give him like as in his generation, he's probably one of the best fighters in his weight class.
Nah, he's gonna go like at the end of the day, like he literally fought and won. He fought 60 times and won 57 of them.
Yeah,
Like he will go down as one of the best fighters of all time.
yeah,
Like there's just
yeah.
no question about it. He is a four-time. Like he basically has won a belt in at least four, five. He's five. Yeah,
Yeah.
five different
Five
weight
different weight
class.
classes. He wants to be the
No, four, and he unified the super middleweight division. And he actually been at 175 before. And the last time, the 2019, he got a stoppage. He knocked somebody out at 175. Like my man, so he's fought in at least 5 to 6,
yeah
but he's only won championships in four.
four, and he wants
And
to
he
get
and
the
he
fit. You know why?
he
Because
wants to
once he
make
gets
two undisputed.
that's true. He wants to make the 200 speed, and once he gets this one, he will be the first guy since Julio Cesar Chavez to have the two undisputed belts, and
Mm-hmm.
the first Mexican boxer to ever do it. And I think that he would be undisputed, one of the best Mexican boxers if he does it. But honestly, on the Belal side, I do think that this is still a big challenge for Canelo. Belal, like we said, he's very patient with his shots, and he definitely, you know, he knocks out people. I know he hasn't done it in the last 3 times, but
Oh,
his
he's
reach
so
is a lot.
disciplined.
His reach is a lot bigger
Mm-hmm.
than Canelo's. He's got like 4 inches on his reach. So, I mean, if you look at that, he's definitely going to use his jabs to keep him at bay. I know Canelo's going to try to do his little combinations and definitely try to get in there. But I just see Bilal is like picking his shots and
Bivol.
Bivol, excuse me. I mean Dmitry Bivol. I keep
No,
on
no,
Bilal.
because we were sitting
Bilal.
here having
Bivol.
a
I mean,
argument about UFC and the
there's
lightweight division because we got 274 coming
right
up.
talking about
So yeah,
Muhammad
with
Bilal.
Muhammad Bilal,
Yeah,
yeah.
Bilal
We've been
Muhammad.
talking
You know,
about UFC all night.
but yeah, I mean they all got similar name. A lot of these.
Bro, I can't keep up.
But anyway, I mean the Russians they can fight is all I know, and there's
Yes.
a reason he's a champion, and there's a reason a lot of these Russians are champions, and obviously here and they're upcoming in the UFC as well. But you know Bilal's reach is definitely a huge advantage for him in this to keep Canelo at bay. Make sure he doesn't get hit with those like combinations right, right in those uppercuts.
He don't waste punches.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely
He's one of the most
agree.
technical.
Agree.
Like basically at this point, he's as pure as it comes when it comes to technical boxers. And a lot of people seen Usyk move up to heavyweight, and they
So,
seen his technical skills, and that's because at light heavyweight you got like supreme combination of speed, agility, and strength.
yeah,
Like it at that pretty much level, it's just all of it. So the one thing I love to point out um, is some stats about what they throw in the combinations that they have. Bivol throws about 54 shots per round,
uh-huh.
and he lands about 17 of them, and that's at
It's not
consistent
great.
light heavyweight. Canelo throws 41 per round, less, and he pretty much connects with 15 of them. And at this point in their careers, Bivol's a
Still
more
better
patient
percentage though.
fighter.
Mm-hmm.
But with that percentage, you also got to come in or count into play them getting hit as well.
True,
So when
true.
it comes to that, right now, when it comes
Gotta
to
be a
active
hitter.
fighter, there's one fighter who's just a little above everyone else when it comes to their plus minus on hitting and getting hit,
Mm.
and that's Bivol.
Mm.
He's number one on the list, and Canelo's number six. Obviously,
Oh.
both great at what they do, but right now, Bivol pretty much has a 20.3 rating when it comes to plus minus
Damn.
positive 20.3. Canelo has a 13.6. Canelo's opponents lands about 23.5 of their shots,
Okay.
while
That's
Bivol's
per fight.
opponents per fight.
Got you.
Bivol's opponents lands 12% of their shots.
Okay. That's. I mean, he keeps people at bay.
He's a great defensive
He loves to
fighter.
keep people at bay. He always loves to put one of his arms out. Like when people are coming at him, he'll hold it out and make sure he checks you like that. So he don't like get too close because he definitely has that reach in his division. I mean,
Hmm
72 reach is no joke. Like
Now, mind you, Canelo probably come in a little bit faster, a little bit
he's
more
way.
agile.
I agree with
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Hundred
because
percent.
he
Way
hits with a
faster.
little bit more accuracy at about like 37, while Bivol's at 32. So Canelo probably got a little bit faster.
See,
But at the end of the
I
day,
definitely
when it
think
comes to light heavyweight, Bivol has fast hands.
he has fast
Like
hands,
for a light heavyweight,
but I do think that the faster fighter is definitely going to
definitely
be Canelo,
Canelo.
and he's going to get way more shots on Bilal.
Yes.
If you look at the overall fight, because for me, I definitely already see this being a little bit longer fight than most people are expecting. I don't see
Oh
this
yeah, it's
being
gonna
like.
go the distance.
You think so? Wow,
Well,
already.
we'll
Okay,
see
we'll
what the
talk about that.
distance
Yeah, we'll
means,
see what
but
that
it's
means.
gonna
But
go
I mean,
far.
I know that it's not gonna go like the last
Yeah.
few fights that happened with Canelo. I just think that he's not gonna be able to like play around with this guy in the beginning like he has been with other fighters. I mean, like you said, Dimitri is very good at picking the shots, and he's very good at connecting. His percentages are very good at connecting. 25% is really good. For a boxer of his stature, for a heavyweight or light heavyweight, it's definitely, one out of four shots, and his shots are heavy. Like they really hit you. I think that that's going to be a problem for Canelo. I really do think that if you look at overall his last 10 to 15 fights, other than if you're not counting Floyd, this is the toughest fighter he's fought.
Yes.
175 and under. I think.
Yeah, no, because they both come with a defensive style, but it's weird because Bivol likes to sit in the pocket with his defensive style
Yeah.
and just kind
Yeah.
of pick and choose his punches, while Canelo, and I say like a lot of people don't like to see it, but Canelo is one of the most prolific defenders in today's game right now, specifically because a lot of people don't understand it because they're used to people like Floyd when it comes to slipping and being
True.
a counter
True.
puncher waiting. Canelo is a person who defends with his head movement and his footwork, but the whole time he's pressing and being aggressive. So a lot of people don't really see it as a defensive style because he's walking people down. but
Yeah,
he's
I mean,
walking people down
yeah.
while being defensive. He's pulling out feints. He's trying to draw combos out. He's like leaking a little bit, trying to get you to bait on one thing, trying to throw another
The
thing. Like
combos and the
he's walking you down, but he's still a defensive fighter, and he's one of the best.
so yeah, when he does the combos and then he definitely comes back with some shots, it definitely shows his defense. But I don't think he's on the level of Floyd Mayweather or
Oh
like a
no,
guy like
not at all.
even a guy like Earl Spence or a guy like Jamal Crawford
Not
or
Crawford.
Crawford
Yes,
like
Spence.
not
No.
Jamal Crawford.
Yeah,
But,
Spence ain't on that level of defender.
no, but he's just faster at moving his head. He's faster at
Nah,
moving his
I
head
would say when
around.
it comes to head movement, Canelo got better head movement than Errol Spence for sure. Like that's the thing. That's the thing. Like his head movement is second to none, and that's what keeps him where he's supposed to be because
No,
he pretty
sorry, I
much
didn't
like
mean that.
continues
I
in
didn't mean
there.
to say because you're all right about that. No, I totally misspoke about that. Is the way that um uh the way that Floyd Mayweather
Nah,
and
he's
the
not on Floyd's level.
just the way that they defend, they move their hips, they move their arms like down, they're able to like slip away from punches. If you look at a guy like Earl Spence, he's a similar type of a guy that like tries to slip away from punches. I do agree with
And that's the
you.
defense
You are right with
we're used to seeing,
yeah.
and that's why a lot of people don't realize like Canelo, like I said, basically like his opponents don't hit a good percentage. Like they pretty much only land 23 uh percent of their shots, so 1 out of 4.
But I
And
mean,
he's basically walking you down, staying in your face, and you only hitting him as a professional 1 out of every 4 times.
I get
That's
it.
prolific head movement.
I get it, but I
That's
mean,
literally
a guy like
prolific
Bilal
head
is only
movement.
getting hit 1 out of 10 times or
No, no,
7 times.
and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He sits back and he's more defensive. He's that more
Because he's
slip.
definitely able to hold his
But I'm saying
pace.
Canelo's
But
defense comes from him pushing forward, and that's a style we don't see very often. So it's gonna be a pretty much two defenders trying to pull something out of each other. But you're like a lot of people won't agree with me because they're gonna say Canelo's gonna walk him down. He is gonna
he
walk
is
him
gonna walk
down,
him down though.
but it's still
I
gonna
think
be
so
two
too.
defenders
I
playing
think
defense
he'll
because Canelo's defense is walking you down and having better head movement and footwork than you.
for me
That's his
they're going
defense.
they're both gonna be going back and forth
Oh yeah,
with
yeah.
who's gonna control the fight, but it's gonna be who's gonna be controlling the fight most of the rounds for me. And I do think that even though the guy with the most control is gonna be Bilal, he's gonna be able to hold you know Canelo back a little bit with his arms. You know, he's gonna just be able to push him back, get his jabs in. I do think that this fight is gonna be similar to the way that Canelo fought Volkov, just because he was a similar stature. He was that 173, 170, 174 pound fighter, and he was definitely like a bigger type of guy. I think he was 5'11". He wasn't as big as Bilal, but still definitely same type of stature and like the jab. And I do think that in those early rounds, you saw Canelo. He didn't really go in too much. Like he definitely tried to pick his spots. It was a little bit slower fight with the Volkov fight, and I do think that in this one it's definitely gonna be similar. It's gonna be a lot slower in those first few rounds. They're not gonna be picking their shots that much. Towards that third, fourth round, that's when you're actually gonna see like energy start moving up.
Nah, it's gonna be later.
Mm.
One thing Canelo learned from losing to Floyd, and he learned a lot of things, was you have no problem giving up the earlier rounds
Yeah,
because
yeah,
your
yeah.
sole intention is to wear
Endurance.
down your opponent. And one of the things like Caleb Plant, very very they call him Sweet Feet because he was
Yeah,
so mobile, so
he was.
agile, and he had prolific footwork.
Yeah,
A lot of things a lot of people don't realize is Canelo spent a lot of those early rounds. What looked like missed body shots was him punching at the hips,
yeah, yeah,
punching at the
yeah.
lower hips,
Make sure that he
making sure
couldn't
he's
move as much.
immobile. Exactly.
But
And Caleb won a few of those rounds, and Canelo has no problem with that.
but
So
even
right
a guy
now
like
he's gonna
Canelo
wear
though,
him
like
down.
a guy like Plant, like he even made it to the 11th round, which I mean, if you look at
And
the
that's what I'm saying.
average,
Canelo won't mind taking Bivol to the 11th, 12th round.
I agree
And
with
that's what
that.
I'm saying.
I
He
totally
don't
agree with
care
that because I mean, if you look at the average of boxing, it's usually like the 10th round is the average of most boxing
because
fights.
he know
So
once he get past 8,
hmm
that's when he's gonna really go in for the kill. And
true,
like at that
true,
point, he spent 8
true.
rounds wearing you down. And Bivol's probably the one person that could withstand like that type of pressure for 8 rounds.
That's where I want to go with that because
Yeah,
honestly, for me, I think that in the WBO, the light heavyweight division, I think Bilal has the best
Bivol.
endurance. Bivol. I no, I said Bivol.
No, you said Bilal.
I said Bivol.
Not once.
No, I did. I said Bivol. I be saying Bivol. I just say a little bit lower. I say
So,
Bivol.
all
I do.
right.
No, I do. I do. I say it weird. I'll just start. I'll call him Dmitry. How about that? I'll just start calling him
No, yeah, no,
Dmitry. All right.
I
How about
literally
that?
keep hearing Bilal.
Dmitry, bro. Dmitry. Anyway, I do think Dmitry is definitely the best like endurance fighter in the light heavyweight
Yeah.
division for sure. Like and Canelo. I mean, it's obvious that he's able to go rounds as well. He's able to take things to decision as well. But like you said, Bilal's last few fights they were in decision, but he was able to win most of those rounds. Like a lot of those fights were 8-4, 9-3. Those were the cards on those fights. So he was able to take most of the rounds, even though they went to decision. So I think that it's gonna be a tough fight. It's gonna go later in the rounds. Do I think it's gonna be a knockout? I don't know. You're gonna have to convince me of that because I don't know at this point, to be honest.
Bivol is pretty much the best defensive fighter that he's faced in a while since Floyd, basically.
Yeah,
And the one thing about Canelo is because he has such an aggressive style of defense, um, he don't face many fighters that are more patient than him.
yeah.
To where
Mm-hmm.
he gets so aggravated and he becomes the aggressor. But not like I said, he has an aggressive style, but it's more defensive style. I'm talking about like if you remember that Floyd fight, like he was just crazy. Like he was just trying to get something off because he just couldn't get what he wanted to get. So that's something that stunned him. When he faced Erislandia Lara.
Laura,
That
yep.
was another one
Yep.
that he basically avoided a lot of he won a lot of those rounds to where Canelo kind of got frustrated, and that was a split decision.
True.
And
True.
that was a split decision. And
True.
basically, while a lot of people don't realize it, his brutal knockout of Amir Khan,
Mm-hmm. That was
up
beautiful.
until he caught him cleanly, that was damn near the first time he caught him cleanly
Mm.
all night.
Mm. That
for
cleanly for
for
sure.
like for like
Yeah.
6 rounds, he
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
giving
Yeah.
him
I
just
mean, there was one or two
trouble.
punches, but
That's what I'm
like, yeah,
saying.
I
For like
agree. Like
six rounds, Canelo was
a
just
really
sitting there.
tough
You could
punch.
see him where like he wasn't comfortable, but he
Mm.
was just like come on, like fuck,
Yeah,
let me
yeah.
just
I
get
want to get
something.
inside.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
couldn't.
yeah.
He
And
couldn't
then he
really get in.
finally got one,
Mm-hmm.
and all he needed was the one. You know what I'm saying? Like all he needed was the one. So like
But I don't think
he,
that a guy like Bilal, he's got a chin, bro. I don't think that
and that's
he's
what I'm
gonna need
saying.
one. He's gonna need like,
He do
I
got a
think he's
chin.
gonna need 4 or 5. Like I feel like a guy like Bilal, even if he gets knocked down like 2 or 3 times, he'll get back up and he's not gonna get knocked out on the first one or second one. I think like it's gonna take him a few times.
Oh
You
no,
know.
and that's what I'm saying. So basically, I expect to see the same type of fight that he had with the last 3 fights, where Canelo were basically use his aggressive, extreme, prolific defense on footwork and head movement, bobbing and weaving, moving forward. Pretty much trying to
Hmm.
play more of a patient game than Bivol. And Bivol is gonna try to pretty much, and that's the one thing I'll give Bivol. He's gonna be more patient than the last 3 fighters,
Yeah,
to where
I
he's
agree.
really like
I definitely agree with that.
he's gonna play that game. And like you said, there's not gonna be not much going on. Fourth, fifth round, you might see a little bit come out from Bivol, but I think Canelo's really gonna be working that body, trying to really get that body and hip work going when it comes to just finding a way to stop the rhythm, stop the breathing, and slow down your opponent. And that's pretty
Mm.
much what he's gonna do. Bivol's gonna try to keep that pocket tight, take a lot of less damage, and counter react when he sees his openings. And if he throws 8 punches with one around, he has absolutely no problem doing
Right,
that.
right. I could see him doing that, but maybe not just 8, maybe like 15.
No,
But
like you
yeah,
know what I'm saying.
but
Like
I could definitely see that happening for
he
sure.
has
Like
no
yeah,
problem
if it's
taking it
like yeah,
slow and
exactly
really
yeah.
just trying to like not
I
find
mean,
any
it's always about significant strikes, and like you
exactly.
want like Bilal, he's gonna be hitting from over the top, so like those jabs are gonna be hitting Canelo definitely on his temple, so they're gonna look, they're gonna look hard. It's gonna be interesting if we see one of these guys bleed, because honestly, Bilal, like if you look at his previous fights, he doesn't bleed as much, like even when he gets welts,
He
like
don't take much damage, bro.
no, he
Twelve
really
percent.
doesn't. Yeah, but
12%.
but Canelo, like if you remember his fights, he actually does bleed a little bit. Like he'll get hit in the eye, he'll start bleeding. Like obviously they take care of it after every round, but like he'll definitely like still get blood on like
And
around.
that's why I say he's one of the best defenders, because at the end of the day, his aggressive style of defense does risk a chance of him getting punched. But on top of that,
Mm.
he literally has the best neck.
Yeah,
Like
yo.
his strength
Brolic.
and that neck
Brolic.
makes no sense.
Yes.
Because there was like them
Yeah.
Triple G fights, there were punches that like
Actually,
not
Triple
one
G's
other
another guy that
man.
has that too,
And that's
but
another
you're
one too.
right,
They
yeah.
both ate punches.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it makes no sense.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no, Canelo got one of the
Canelo,
strong. He
yeah,
got one
for
of the
sure.
strongest neck muscles in the game, and that's why the head movement and pretty much like I said, the footwork and the chin, like all that together, like it's a nasty
It's a nasty
combo
combo, and
of someone just walking you down where you still can't even touch
so
him.
I definitely
But
agree that
Dimitri won't try that.
I definitely agree that he's gonna be able to get like those body shots. Canelo's gonna be able to get body shots on Dimitri,
That's his
and
plan.
that's definitely gonna be a great plan for him. I think that that's gonna be good if he's gonna make Dimitri start, bringing his hands down towards the
Set up the
later
uppercut.
rounds. Exactly, and
That's his favorite punch.
that's
It
what you're
sets
gonna
up the
need to do.
uppercut.
That's what you're gonna do. Bring his hands down a little bit, so you make sure that he's not blocking
Or
his
just
face.
bring his hands to the side.
Yeah,
'Cause,
exactly.
it's open up
It's
the
open
middle.
up,
Like,
open
like
up.
literally, like he's gonna be digging at that pancreas. He's gonna be digging at that hip.
Yeah,
He's gonna be digging in
definitely,
that gut.
definitely.
He's
And I
definitely
do think he's gonna
be-
get those shots where he goes for the uppercut, goes for that right hook. He loves that right hook
And
after
another
that
thing too,
uppercut.
I know, I love it, and it sounds so foolish, but it works so fluidly. And when you think about it, you understand why it works.
What's
Boxers
that?
have to react in the splittest of seconds. So like Canelo has such a ridiculous feint that to a random person, when you look at it, you literally think to yourself, why does that work?
Oh, that just
Because
shows the
look, so
speed.
listen,
That shows the
he
speed,
does this
bro.
now. Obviously, he got the hook, like
Hmm.
body, head, and then he got a hard ass overhand right
Hmm.
to where it hooks over
I love that.
it
I love
hooks
that.
to
He
the
does
back
do
of the
that from the
head.
top.
It hooks to the back of the head and comes in from the rear.
Hmm.
So one of the things he throws that overhand right a lot, and then this shit makes no sense. But like his feint
Yeah.
is
Comes back with
this.
it. Yeah. Doop. Yeah.
No, he
I know.
throws his arm out,
Yep.
but just flashing the glove out, making him think he's about to come
Hmm.
in.
They get a
It
little
makes him do
fidgety. Yeah.
this,
They get a little
and like
fidgety.
literally, he does this
Bum, bum, bum.
and comes straight
Hmm.
with that uppercut, and that's one of his most lethal combos. And like one of the times I seen it, and I like I thought like way that worked. And then like he consistently uses that. And then when I look at the footage, I'm like, I see why it works because he sets it up with that right hand. So as soon as you see that glove come out, you have no choice but to come in.
That's true.
And at that point, he flashes
He did that
straight with
exact.
the uppercut.
He did that exact move against Yildirim. I know the exact move you're talking about. He did
He's
that
lethal with it.
exact
That's
move
one of
on
his
him.
favorite.
Yep.
And that's the thing. Like they
That's the
technically
exact
call
move he
that a
did on him.
Canelo feint. 'Cause at this point, no one in the boxing game is feinting as frequently. Where they, it's not like a
That's
actual
interesting, though,
boxing. He throws it out. He
That's
just literally
interesting.
throws it out to hang. But he just wants you to see the glove, and you have no choice.
Yeah.
But to pull it to the side.
That's
You
and
have
you know
no
he's gonna be
choice.
doing that because it's gonna be
And that's what I'm
Cinco
saying.
de Mayo weekend.
Expect
So
to see that,
he's
and that's
definitely
what
gonna
I'm
be
saying.
putting on a
Because
show, but
he's gonna be facing a person who's gonna be using all of his arm combinations
True.
and shoulder feints
True.
to keep him in there. So as soon as he flashed that right, that's gonna be something Canelo's gonna throw.
so I mean, here comes the question: who you got in this one? I mean, like I said, this might be his toughest fight to date, other than Floyd Mayweather. Canelo Alvarez or Dmitry Bivol. Nah,
Bivol.
did I get it right this time?
You did,
All right,
did,
there
you
we
did.
go. All right, I'll take it.
But listen, at 31 years old, it's Canelo's world, man, and we're just living in it. He hasn't shown no signs of slowing down. His last 3 fights were damn near perfect at this point.
You're right about that.
A lot of people were worried about his move back up to 175, but at this point, it's been clear that he knows what he wants. I don't ever think he'll move past light heavyweight. Like he's 5'7".
No,
He's
I don't
not
think so
moving,
either.
what I'm
I think
saying?
he'll
But
probably stay.
he flirted at 175 before. Even got a knockout. So like that's not like it's not. He's been there before.
Yeah, Bokolov.
Exactly. So like he's not worried about that. At this point, I think it's gonna be his fight. I don't think Bivol is gonna be a fighter to take chances. He know he can't knock Canelo out. So his only shot is to win by decision.
Ooh.
No, he hasn't knocked anyone out close
I don't
until
agree
like
with
7,
that.
8 years. He literally he won like 8-9-0, got his belt, and then pretty much been winning straight decisions. Because another thing with the UFC and the boxing, once you face them top five contenders, like it gets to a point where like it's another level. And with that light heavyweight, you don't want to risk getting your lights put out
No,
because it
his
takes
last
just
knockout
one
was three
punch.
years ago, but yeah,
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
been 3 years
So
for his last knockout. Yeah,
nah, it got to be more than 3 years.
no,
Oh, that's
three
right.
years.
No, he had.
Yeah, he had a knockout three
That's
years
right.
ago.
Yeah. So he's had
5 fights
literally like
ago.
yeah.
It
I
was
would say
five
he
fights
has
ago.
one knockout in the midst of those like all those decisions. He did have one. You're right. You're right. Yep. So not, but like you can't really risk that. So I think it becomes a Canelo by decision.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Canelo, he's been fighting for so much. Like he's had so many more fights. Like you said, he's 31, and he what's his
60
record?
fights, 60 pro fights,
60 fights.
57, 1 and 2.
Well, I mean, Bivol is 31 as well, and he's only had 19 pro fights. So he is 19 to 0. That's one thing you got to give it to him. And in early his career, he was knocking people out left and right. And
Mm-hmm.
early in the rounds, he was knocking people out third, fourth round knockouts.
And apparently, it seems to be a very vacant light heavyweight division.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few guys there, but honestly, Vokolev was one of the guys that you thought was gonna take over, and he never was able to because I mean he got beat by Canelo, and after that he just was never able to like get back up there against a guy like Bivol. But obviously you still have Joe Smith Jr. out there, and a guy like Berbediev that's
Mm-hmm.
up there who's up and coming. But that's a division is definitely like up and coming. So for Canelo to be able to get this belt, if he does, he is going to become the first guy since Julio Cesar Chavez to get it, right?
Yeah.
I think to get
Well,
the
nah,
I'm not
because
was it Julio?
no, he is undisputed.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, let me look at that. I
Yeah.
believe that it was the
Because right now,
yes, exactly. Yeah, it was he will be the first one to be the undisputed Mexican fighter
well,
and two.
Mexican.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
Mexican fighter exactly.
yeah,
Mexican
I would
fighter
say it's been
since
done before, and actually another person that's about to try to do it right now is Crawford is trying
Crawford
to
trying to bring
go
both.
go up to fight Earl Spence and get all those belts and become
Exactly.
2-time undisputed.
And he's trying to
So
get the
yeah.
three
So
belts. Yeah. So
exactly. So there's a couple people and after that he went Charlo. So there's definitely a like
that's true.
that
Yeah. It's he's gonna be Canelo will be the first Mexican fighter
Mexican one.
since
Yeah.
or yeah the first Mexican since Julio Cesar Chavez, but also he would have more title defenses
Yeah.
as well because this would count as a title defense for his own belt as well. But I do think that like I think he's obviously the faster fighter. He's going to be able to get the body shots, like you said. I think that Bivol has a chance if he keeps his distance, he stays patient, he uses his jabs, and he definitely uses his left hook is pretty good. I definitely think he needs to do that a little bit in this fight. Do I think it's going to be a knockout for Bivol? Nah, I think if Bivol wins this fight, it's going to be like a decision for him. But do I think he's the better fighter? No, I think right now it's Canelo's world, like you said, and I think right now he's just in the best shape of his career. He's able to get so many more shots on you, and even if like you said, that Bivol could win a round that he gets like 15 shots, but I don't think Canelo's gonna allow that. He's gonna probably get like 40 to 50, hits on Bivol per round. So I do think that the better fighter, the more talented fighter is Canelo, even though the bigger fighter is Bivol. And I actually got this as a knockout for Canelo in the 10th round. I don't think it's gonna go to decision. If it does go to decision, it'll be interesting to see because I think that Canelo hasn't gone to decision in a while. It's been like a year and a half,
Yeah,
two
but
years almost since he's been in decision. So
Bivol got the highest plus minus because
yeah,
niggas only hit 12% of their shots.
yeah. But I mean, I won't be
Land
surprised. Is
land
what
twelve
I'm
percent of
saying.
their strikes.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if it is, but even if it's 12%, I think one or two of those hard shots by Canelo might hit him hard in those later rounds, and I think it might be a 10th round knockout for
And
me.
that's the thing. But Ball is like that's the one thing people don't realize about him. He's not a lanky 6 footer. He's a stocky 6 footer.
He is a little stocky,
Like
but
he has a very short like that's what makes him so good as a defender. Because when you go to light heavyweight, tall 6 foot fighters, when they do this, like when I do this, I could block my whole body and still
True,
touch my face.
true.
They can't do something like that. Like I'm touching my
But
hips
compared to
and touching
Canelo,
my
like we're
face.
comparing him Canelo.
Canelo's
We're not
more
comparing him
blockier
like
and stockier. I'm
light
saying
heavyweight.
compared against 6 foot
Yeah,
fighters,
compared to 6 footers, you're right.
Bivol is a stockier 6 foot, so that's what makes him such a nasty. That's why he got that 12%
That's true.
defense because he can still use
That's
his
for
forearm
sure.
to cover most of his body, and he'll sit there and do that and wait for his shot.
Definitely compared to a
So
guy like
that's why I don't
Gilbert
think he's
Burns in
gonna
the
be knocked
UFC,
out.
similar to like Gilbert Burns in the UFC, like that type of body style.
Yeah,
Definitely more
well,
like
well, a little couple more
a
inches.
couple more inches height, but definitely like a
Yes,
little more stockier for sure. But I do think that like he definitely has a chance in this fight. It won't surprise me if it goes to decision. Um, but if he does win, that'll be really crazy for me. First of all, like they even said they're not gonna play the Russian national anthem for him coming out. They're not gonna play
yeah.
you know, they're not gonna have his flag showing when he comes out. But if he wins, it'll definitely be interesting on a Cinco de Mayo weekend. But what happens next? Because we both got this as a Canelo win. So what happens next for Canelo if he wins?
He pretty much moves on to fight either the next light heavyweight belt holder, or he moves back down. Cause or stays. Cause I don't even actually think he's going up to 175 for the fight.
I
I
think
think
he.
he's staying at
Oh.
168 to 170. I don't think
Oh.
cause he don't have to.
Mhm.
Like you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying. Like it's
Mhm.
like he has to be within like a few pounds,
Yeah. No,
but
you're
like he
right.
don't have to be on
He doesn't have to be
175
no.
on the mark.
No.
And I don't actually think he's gonna bulk up that couple pounds. Obviously he walks around probably at higher than that, but like I think he wants to be a little bit more quicker and a little bit more agile so he could wear his opponent down.
Mm.
So we'll definitely see if he just hits on the mark or is a couple pounds off. Um, but pretty much like he's gonna either take that fight with the next belt holder or move back down and fight Triple G. I actually think he
Mm.
want to save Triple G for the
Triple
last
B.
fight of his 3 fight
Well,
contract.
he fighting Ball now.
Right.
One of the Ball brothers. No.
So I think he's on a 3 fight contract. This will be the first one, and more than likely the next one is what everyone is thinking gonna be Joe.
Joe
Everyone's thinking it's
Joe
gonna be
Smith, yeah,
Joe. Yeah,
Junior.
yeah, yeah.
So I mean, I got a little bit different to be honest with you. I mean, for me because Joe Smith Junior. He's got to fight Berbediev right
No, no,
now.
he got to get the belt,
So
but a lot of people got him as a favorite.
they do, but I think Berbediev is up and coming fighter, and I think he's a better fighter to me. So I think Berbediev is probably going to win that fight. Um, but for me next, a lot of people have been talking about the Triple G fight. You're 100% right about that. And Canelo has an 11 fight um, contract with DAZN, so he's got like a few more years with them. So
I thought this
he,
was only 3.
well, it's 3 fights for the year. That he's 3 fights for 2022 is what he wants to do. Triple G wants to fight 3 times in 2022, which is gonna be crazy for him because it's already May and this is his first fight in 2022. Last year in 2021 when he did it, it was January, May, and November. And this year it's already May and he wants to do 3 fights. So I don't know how that's gonna happen, but
Right, right.
the next fight is supposed to be possibly Triple G. But I think since Berbediev and uh, Joe Smith Jr. are fighting next very soon. I think they're fighting in the next month. I think
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna hold off a fight between the winner of that first, and then they're gonna try to keep
To
that
get
last
him
fight.
undisputed, yeah.
Yeah, to get that undisputed belt, and then obviously the end of the year might be a crazy fight. It might be the third Triple G fight with Canelo, which would be insane. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, what's even more insane is Canelo actually had a chance to take a contract, $120 million contract for a 4 fight deal to fight Earl Spence and somebody else. It was like Earl Spence was the one guy he was gonna fight, and then he had a chance to pick his
Mm.
next challenger. So
Okay, no. So he was on an 11 fight contract with Golden Boy in 2018 that he broke, and
that hasn't bought his contract out.
now he's on a. That's what I said. Now he's just on a 3
Oh, he's on
fight
$120 million
Now
contracts.
he's
That's
just
right.
on a 3 fight
Okay.
contract, and this
So
is the first one. And
well, it
that's to
can't be the
say,
first. That's the second one because
no,
last year he
this
got 100 million for 3 fights.
no, but they just signed a new contract after playing. And the
Okay,
first
a new
fight's
one, yeah,
supposed to
yeah,
be
but he
Dimitri.
still fought under
The
DAZN
second
last
one,
year though.
no, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's been with them since 2020. but they just signed a new contract. The first one is Dmitry. The second one's supposed to be pretty much another, like I said, either Joe
Hmm.
or the other title holder. And then the third one they already planned on. We wanted Triple G. So he has a 3-fight contract. Now, I was gonna say he was an 11-fight contract with the Golden Boys, but now he's on a 3-fight contract, and they pretty much said two light heavyweights, and then Triple G
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, I mean, I
So that's
definitely
pretty
see
much.
him
We
this
just
year
don't know
fighting
what
Triple G.
order
Right.
we're getting, and we're not getting. We're at this point. If he wins, obviously against a Bivol,
There
he's
you go. You messed
definitely
it up too. Yo, I win. I win. Let's go.
You've been working me all episode.
I got you saying
Yeah,
his
you've
name.
been
That's
working
what
me all
let's go.
episode. So pretty much once he beat Bivol, they definitely plan to go to the next light heavyweight, and then they plan on, and then
That's
the
why.
third fight of the contract with Triple G.
That's why I think that it is going to be the winner of Gerald Smith Jr. and Berberdiev, and that's where the only way we differ. I think
Yeah.
Berberdiev is a better fighter than Gerald Smith Jr. for me. But
No,
that's yeah.
no. No. Tora definitely might win. Like, I definitely see that happening, so I get it. But
But yeah, we both see them obviously getting to that Triple G fight next
yes,
up in the end of the year, which
that's
will be incredible.
and even that's the thing. It don't have to necessarily be the end of this year.
No, it
It's
could be
just
the beginning of
it's
next
just
year for sure
it's the
too.
third fight of that.
But it's just
Of
that
that
Canelo was the
contract.
one.
He wants
Canelo
it.
was the only one that said that. He actually came out
And I
on
think at this
ESPN.
point, Triple G don't have no problem doing nothing but training
Oh, not at
for a
all.
Canelo fight because
No, not
that
at
will
all.
be his retirement
My
fight.
man's already like 36.
That's what I'm
What
saying.
was he
That
gonna
will
be
be
doing?
his
Like
that will be his
honestly,
retirement
that'll
fight.
be good money right there. You know, for
Exactly.
him.
He has no problem
Not at all.
spending the rest of the year training for that shit.
But honestly, I don't think Canelo has no problem with his next next two
No,
fights at least.
and that's why and that's why one of the things a lot of people are not wanting to give Canelo that title of just this best of our generation because they literally have felt like he's cherry picked easy belt classes and easy
I don't think
title
it's his
holders.
fault. I don't think
And
it's
I
his
don't.
fault.
And here's my point. I
Boxing.
don't. Cause at the end of the day, if everyone at 168 is trash, and like what is that's not his fault. They're the,
I was
they're
just
the
gonna say,
168 title holders.
Well, not even that.
That's not his fault.
But here's the thing: boxing is not the same as UFC. UFC have a commissioner where he picks the fighters or he picks the fights, and he picks some of the best fights at all times.
A
He'll
lot
pick
of
the
people
ranks.
are avoiding Canelo.
Yeah, but it's sometimes the promotion companies. Like you got a different
Yeah.
promotion company from a different country that doesn't want to fight. That's why, like, if you remember back in the day, like a lot of the Anthony Joshua versus Fury fights, it couldn't happen because promotion wasn't right, or it just wasn't happening right. And the same
But
thing with Canelo fights because he was under Golden Boy promotion or Golden Boy boxing, up until 2020 actually, and then he got off that contract. Now he's actually able to do fights with a lot
yeah.
more.
But that's
People.
the same. People have been saying since then he's been cherry picking. Now, granted, I'll be honest. Part of me just understands that it's a smart thing to do, but people weren't happy that when he decided to go to the 168, he chose he chose what everyone considered the weaker champions first before facing what ended up being Billy Joe and then Caleb Plant. But in my head, it's like, why would you not do it that way?
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, you know what I'm saying? But
I don't fault him because he fought Golovkin when he was in his prime. So
granted,
I think that that's definitely fine. That he's definitely a type of fighter that can outbeat some guys.
yeah, no, granted.
Real quick, the camera came off, but I'm gonna change up the battery. But we still going on the.
Yeah, so we got a couple more minutes.
We're still going on the live
the audio.
So whoever's listening, you guys still with us. The video, we'll get right back to you guys. Don't worry.
But and it's funny because I was just about to look the camera dead in his face and say, like, the one thing I'll say about the Triple G and Canelo fight is I'll 100% say that first fight that ended in a draw, Canelo lost.
Yeah.
Triple G won that first fight. Canelo came back that second fight and was clearly the better fighter and won that. There was controversy for both of them. The second one wasn't a controversy for me. Again, it ended up in
for me. It
ended
bro.
up in a window.
Oh, nah.
Like the first one was a draw, so I 100% see where there was a couple rounds. I was like, ain't no way Canelo got that. So like, I definitely think that Triple G beat Canelo. At this point in their careers, though, Canelo's already surpassed
For me,
them.
that's crazy.
Fun.
I mean, I think the second one was a little bit more controversial than a lot of people say. Like, I think the Triple G was very close in that fight. I think that could have been a draw, whereas the first one you say could have been a win. I think that the second one could have easily been a draw.
So I think for me, and I remember because a lot of times when I watch the fight, obviously most people have a bias. I like to try to watch it after and like multiple times, like watch it from basically the first time I watch it, I'll watch it for who I want to win.
Mm-hmm.
Second time, I'll watch my person again, and then the third time, I'll watch their person,
Mm-hmm.
and then the fourth time I just try to watch it as both. So I watch
Right.
fights at least like 3-4 times
I,
before I really try to
I
give an
usually do
opinion.
too. Yeah, I
And
usually give
I
a time.
remember initially thinking that Triple G won that second fight as well.
Mm.
And a part of it I realized is because I felt he got robbed
I did too.
the
I really
first
did.
fight.
I did
So
too.
I gave him a little bit
Not
of a
only,
bias that
yeah,
second fight.
okay, but not only Rob. Like I just felt like they were trying to at the time.
No, he should have
At the
won.
time,
It
they were
was a draw.
pushing. Wait, they were
Yeah, they were
pushing
pushing Canelo.
Canelo because he was a younger fighter,
Yeah, they were
and
pushing Canelo.
my man was the
It was
older
not
fighter,
no goddamn
obviously.
draw. Triple G won.
Plus,
It was
the
not
one thing
no
I hate
draw.
about boxing is draw. So
That's what I'm saying. Like, ain't no
like,
draw.
What is
like,
this
what
draw
do you
in
mean
boxing?
draw?
Like
you can't tell me you sat there and watched that whole fight and didn't think one person beat the other. Like, you literally can't tell me you think both persons are even.
Crazy.
You can't tell me. Because at the end of the day, you have to have one. You have to lean one way.
That's crazy.
And at the end of the day, if you lean one way, like it don't matter. Because if you're the deciding factor and you telling me you can't lean, I'd rather have you just lean a fucking way.
Oh, don't even get
just
me
lean.
don't
like,
even
literally.
get me started on boxing judges because I
Yeah,
swear we
it
could have a
makes no
whole
sense.
episode on the
And
worst
that's what I'm saying.
boxing.
That first fight was a draw. Ain't no way that should have been a draw. To me, Triple G won.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, I mean I agree with that, but I definitely think the second fight for sure was definitely more controversial than people are giving it. I think the Triple G fought a lot better than people give him credit for.
Yeah. And obviously on the other side of that coin with Dmitry Bivol, because we're talking about what will happen or what's gonna happen afterwards.
True. Let's talk
if
about him
he
real
wins
quick.
the belt or keeps the belt, he's obviously gonna continue to try to unify all of them and continue to win. And if he loses, 9 times out of 10, more 9 times out of 10, the 2 out of the 4 champions that Canelo just beat probably will regain their championship.
Yeah. But
there's no avoiding it. They're very young.
for sure, there's a few guys young.
But just Canelo's on a
Alvarez is young. Ramirez is very young out there.
All
But
young. So
for me, the next
if
fight,
he loses, he's gonna come back in a couple years, in a year or two, and be back.
for me, if he wins, though, I think that he's gonna try to fight Kovalev, and that's gonna be the real fight.
Everyone's fighting him next. Whoever wins out of him and Joe, everyone's fighting next.
Well, I don't know. I think if Joe Smith and Berberdiev, whoever's the winner of that is probably gonna fight Canelo. But if just Bivol wins, then I do think it might be Kovalev versus Bivol next. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. But anyways, it's gonna be a great fight on May 7th, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Canelo versus Bivol. So make sure y'all get ready to watch that one. And thank you guys for listening to us. And make sure that if you guys are listening to us on our podcast, and check us out wherever you get it. We're everywhere: Apple, Google, Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Get us there. If you're watching us, check us out on YouTube or our social media pages. And
definitely, you already know we love the social media interaction. We love talking with our fans. We want to make sure that we continue to give you the quality sports content that you love. You know what it is: NBA, NFL, UFC, boxing, a little bit of college sports when it comes to tournament time.
Exactly. Oh yeah,
we're always going to keep adding more things. And this was our first boxing episode that we actually dropped.
Right.
And we've been meaning to drop ones for a while.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, but we've been waiting for the right fight, and this seemed like the right fight because this is gonna be a pretty
Cinco
good.
de Mayo. That's to say, we got the best
Course,
Mexican
baby.
fighter in the world walking around on Cinco de Mayo. We had to get it good. We even went to the bar, had some drinks before we even came and recorded the episode. Wanted to make sure we just having a good time. And this is a fantastic fight weekend.
Oh yeah,
with a UFC 274 as well.
It's gonna be great. So make sure you guys give us some comments if you guys wanna let us know what you guys want us to talk about with different episodes or different topics, whatever you guys want to shoot us up on our
season stuff coming up. More of opinionated debate, more topics. So let us know what you want to hear.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into a lot more stuff. But thank you guys again for watching this episode of Who You Got with
Mello
and Rado. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace, y'all.